I think to have a local newspaper in this day and age is a very rare and a very important and precious thing.
I would say it starts with the people and it goes to the people.
I think the thing I like most about it is that, you know, local people write it, and it's kind of from the perspective of people who live here and kind of work here, create here.
The Echo tends to try and show the positive things that people are doing in the community or the concerns that aren't being aired elsewhere.
There's lots of marginalised voices that get representation in a local newspaper. I mean, one of the key things that the Echo is really good at is just having so many different diverse voices.
My favourite part of the paper is the news section. I'm an old-fashioned news obsessive like that. I can just see what it is that's going on in the borough where I live and where the people I care about live as well. I can learn all about that.
A truly representative local paper, and the fact that it's free to read is it's a bonus, really.
Most of the news I usually read are about world news, and they're not necessarily very good news neither. So I think it's also good to have a bit more positive news about the community, what's happening around us. Also because that means I can be part of it, or I can become part of this, or have a say on it, things like that.
I think local news kind of safeguards a kind of personality of an area, and it allows people to tell certain kinds of stories that you may not get from the outside.
I think a lot of things happen in the community supported by the Echo. I know the Echo's covered a lot of campaigns and voluntary groups who found the publicity really helpful.
As a charity, we've contributed towards articles in the Echo. Really see it as a local paper that provides the opportunity for locals to have a voice.
I approached the Echo about starting my own column called Life on the Estate because I had noticed that the council were consistently putting out misinformation about how the housing project was going. I'm using the word project quite loosely. My estate is being demolished. The reaction to the column has been phenomenal. At first I think I was writing in a vacuum where I didn't really understand how it was being absorbed, and then as I started to speak to people, they would just come up to me and say, you know, you're the girl that writes a column, and I'm like, yeah, and they're like, thank you for doing it, thank you for telling our story, you know, thank you for being real, thank you for not diluting exactly what goes on. So people feel themselves in what I'm writing.
I used it as a platform to promote creative works, which in itself is geared towards local businesses and local apprentices. And I thought it was the ideal way, really, of getting the message out there, because obviously the Echo is written for the local community.
I think newspapers are obviously under a lot of pressure at the moment, and they've kind of reverted towards being either very advertising-led and commercial, and that kind of can affect the quality of the news reporting, or on the other hand you get kind of newspapers that are pushing a particular point of view, or they might be run by one organisation with its own interests. I think a social enterprise model is one that can kind of balance the need to be commercially successful while still having a kind of clear agenda to present things that are beneficial to the community and try and bring the community together.
I think it's important for Waltham Forest to have a local newspaper that isn't in any way connected to, like, you know, the public sector, the local authority, because I think it's important for local people to have a voice through the paper. There are lots of issues that affect people, and people need to find a way to channel their voice and have their voice heard.
Well, my hope is mainly that it's going to stay and continue as a place for dialogue. I think that's really how I see it, is that it needs to kickstart discussions and conversations, and people need to react to it, and that's really how I see it as a central piece for that. So I think that would be good for me.
I think it's amazing that the Echo has made it to this landmark and is doing so well, and I wish it all the success in the future and hope it will continue for a long time.
My hope is that the Echo continues to bring people together, to tell kind of the stories that aren't being told elsewhere, and that the Echo kind of, just grows in readership and impact.
Well, the Waltham Forest Echo has just turned 50. I think if we're lucky, we might end up seeing the Waltham Forest Echo getting 100 editions or 200 or 500, and the longer it continues, the longer it's able to tell the story of this area where we all live, the better for all of us and the better for local democracy as well.